what I'm saying? I'm not fucking playing. I'll give it to you straight, man. There's too many others and you're not that great, man. Stop what you're saying, stop what you're making. Everybody here knows that you just fake it. I don't wanna hear it anymore. I don't wanna hear it anymore. All these fucking thoughts, they are not what I need anymore. I'm about to shut the motherfucking door on all you poor ass haters in your heads in the clouds. Talking out loud so proud. You better shut your goddamn mouth before I do more speak out. It's about to hit town. Never gonna make it. There's no way that you make it. And maybe you can fake it, but you're never gonna make it. Aren't you just gonna take that? Make them take the old back. Don't tell me you believe that. Aren't you just gonna take that? Or will you fucking fight back?
Hello everybody, and welcome to episode number 10 of Unfinished Business, where the rules are made up. We don't make good enough points for it to matter.
No, we don't.
I'm still Braden. I've got Gregory over here to my right. And we had a little week-long hiatus.
Yeah,
We had a little too much fun.
We did not film last week. We went to the Blues game for Friday night?
Yeah.
Friday night. Yeah, we went to the Blues game Friday night, and after watching that epic ass-kicking, we kind of just didn't really film. Got busy with, well, for me it was with the kids. For you it was
Nothing.
I just didn't get a hold of you. But
true.
we are back. We are
better than ever.
We are better than ever. We have new koozies.
Oh yeah, we do.
We got a new mic, which we will be playing with. So, I mean, if the audio is a little different this time, bear with us. We'll get it set up correctly this next time. But
hopefully.
But yeah, with that being said, I'll kind of go ahead and just say what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about NHL playoffs.
Yeah.
Some of my picks. Not so good.
I don't think any of mine advanced to the next round.
I know some of mine did, but other ones not so much.
Yeah.
We will talk about obviously our segments of top 5 this day in sports history, and we're talking about golf.
Yeah, golf.
And was that it?
That was it.
That was it. Okay. So this one might be
on topics.
Yeah, this one might be
probably longer because we'll get into some rants probably.
Yeah, well, especially since we went to the Blues game, I think we will probably end up talking about what we saw out of a certain Colorado Avalanche team. At least I will.
Quite possible.
But before we do all that, I guess we should probably take the word from our sponsor.
Absolutely. So as always, this episode of Unfinished Business is brought to you by Crafts and Creations by Kane. Your one-stop shop for personalized items that will both amaze you and have your friends and family asking where you got it from. Click the link in the description to be taken to the business Facebook page, or simply search Crafts and Creations by Kane on Facebook. Make sure to join the group and look at her prior creations, or simply check out the decal that's right here. Hey look, I did it right that time.
Good job. Or on our koozies.
Or right here. Take a little...
Yeah.
Oh, nice and cold. And then while you're there, find something that you like, message the group creator with your request, and she will take it from there. Join the group today and get your creations by Kane.
Going off of just a little bit of her creations now, she actually, I got her a little something else, and she no longer just has Cricut. She has a mold casting thing too, so she can make keychains. She's working on kind of, I don't know what you call it, but like different things you can put on your desk.
Like paperweight?
Kinda, yeah. She's looking at making us one that kind of stands up here. So
nice.
When she gets it made, like we'll obviously have it up here and kind of show you guys like what it looks like. But she's practicing with smaller things first, and then she's gonna venture out and make us one and kind of.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't know if it's a paperweight, if it's just kind of like a statue type thing or what it is, but...
I'm sure we'll figure it out.
Hey, I mean, if you need her to make you something, she can make it.
Just, yeah.
I guess before I even did like my whole spiel. Probably should have like talked about why we have an American flag up here.
Yeah, I think
it's probably more important to talk about that than get into the podcast right away.
Yeah, I think obviously we want to wish everybody. I mean, obviously tomorrow is going to be Memorial Day. I mean, we're filming on Sunday. Well,
yeah,
late.
No, it's still Sunday.
Late Sunday.
It might be 11:00 at night, but it's still Sunday.
Yeah. So obviously tomorrow is, like I said, Memorial Day. We've got the American flag. You know, it's a holiday where I think a lot of people not necessarily take it for granted, but don't necessarily know what it means. They know that some people don't have to go to work. Like me and you both don't have to go to work tomorrow.
Which
thank you.
Yeah, great. 3-day weekend's always nice, but it's we need to remember the reason why we have this 3-day weekend. It's not to have burgers. It's not to drink. It's not the
cookouts. It's not the time. I mean, it's time with family, but it's not.
Yeah, it's because people have sacrificed their lives for us. People are still sacrificing their lives for us. Yeah. So, I mean, we had unfinished business, and I think I speak for both of us. Yeah. Tomorrow, definitely find a veteran and thank them. Yeah. Whether that's a family member, whether that's somebody you see and like just out shopping around that's in a uniform, just make sure you thank them for their service, and kind of go from there.
Yeah, because I mean, this all right here is very symbolic of how everything needs to be. I mean, we've got the American flag. It's covering up our own kind of business, our own name, because it's not. I mean, obviously we enjoy what we do every day.
Yeah,
and we enjoy filming the podcast, and we enjoy talking about sports and things along those lines. But it's what's in front of that, and that allows us to do things like this every week. And
going off of that, I mean, we in this country couldn't do half the things we do if it wasn't for people who have fought for us in the past and are still fighting for us.
Yeah.
I mean, the freedoms we have compared to a lot of other countries is, I think people take that for granted a lot.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know me myself. I mean, I probably take it for granted all the time. So
it's just not something that we think about first and foremost, and it's something that we need to be more conscious of. And I mean, obviously, to anybody that it does watch that is actively serving, or is a veteran that has been
hats off to you guys.
Obviously, yes, very much so. I mean, thank you for everything that you do. I know that I have family members that are both active in the military and out of the military at this or now, but obviously, thank you for everything that all you guys do. We've got people that have children that are in the military.
Yep. So I have a couple of buddies I used to work with who their kids are in the military right now. They just came home for a little bit and they're already back out. I don't know if they're back out in the United States or if they're actually overseas now, but prayers with them, and hopefully here they get to come home soon again. So but with that, like we said, just remember tomorrow. Thank veterans. That's the whole reason why we're able to do half the things we can do, and be off work tomorrow.
Remember what it's about, not just.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, enjoy your time with family, but remember that's not the whole reason why we have this holiday. So same with 4th of July. It's not
Veterans Day, 4th of July, Memorial Day.
Yeah, I mean it's all the same. Thank a veteran.
Yeah.
Think about veteran every day, but especially on these holidays. So
all
right. Do we want to get into our first topic, Braden?
Yeah. So
what do we want to start with?
Start with some hockey.
Okay.
Go with the first round of the NHL playoffs.
Oh yeah.
And you know what? Let's just start it off with. We'll go with the one that's still active at the moment.
Yeah.
So first, we'll talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs going against the Montreal Canadiens, and that is the only first round series that is still still active, still being played. Toronto and Montreal series tied 3-3, going into Game 7, which is going to be tomorrow or Monday on Memorial Day at 6 p.m. Central. So it's been a very interesting series.
Yeah, to say the least, it's been an interesting series. I mean, personally, I think I had Toronto in 6, if I remember correctly. Because I think I said Carey Price would steal a couple games for Montreal.
Oh yeah.
I had him in 5. I don't know if this series is going 7 because Tavares got injured in the first game. I don't know.
It's possible.
But Toronto should win the series. Montreal's great, don't get me wrong, but Toronto should win this series. I mean, I guess you could say the same thing about another team later on that we'll talk about that was in Canada that I thought should have won their series, but once again choked in the playoffs. And
once again.
Yeah, once again. But I mean, if you look at last game, and I've watched, I wish I could get if I would have thought about it, I would have tried to get the video of it to play for people watching. But the overtime goal scored by Montreal, they actually, and I don't know if he ended up getting suspended for this or not, but yeah. So Toronto had the puck. I believe it was Toronto had the puck. And one of the Montreal players actually blindside hit a guy in the head.
Oh, yeah.
That led to the rush on the other end. That was the game-winning goal.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you could say Toronto should have won that game. You could say Montreal deserved to win that. I mean, it is what it is. But I think in a Game 7, if you just look at which team is better, Toronto should win this game. Now,
theoretically, yes.
Now, will that happen? Who knows?
I mean, Carey Price in Game 7.
I mean, Carey Price in a Game 7. I like my chances.
Yeah.
Cole Caulfield has played very well for Montreal. Obviously, they still have Corey Perry. They still have Nick Suzuki.
Mm-hmm.
Toffoli, I believe, is still playing.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they have the pieces in Montreal to pull off the upset.
Yeah.
But if you look at the star power that Toronto has, they should win this game.
Yeah.
In my mind, and I know I'm pretty sure I had Toronto in 6.
Yeah, I tried 5.
Yeah.
That didn't happen.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, I knew Carey Price would steal a couple games, but he's looked very, very good in net once again. So
yeah.
We'll see. I'm definitely going to tune into that game tomorrow night if I can. I mean, it kind of depends on what my son wants to watch on TV, but
he likes hockey.
He likes hockey, but he likes movies, and depending on what time the game is, it's movie time.
6.
I might be able to watch it like the first couple periods.
Well, there you go.
So
there you go.
Well, which you want to just keep on going down?
Stay in the north.
Down the board.
Let's stay in the north. So next one would be the old Winnipeg versus the Edmonton Oilers, and Winnipeg sweeping the Edmonton Oilers.
If I remember correctly, I think I had Edmonton in 5 or 6.
I had Edmonton in 5.
I was say I said
4.
I said Edmonton, I think in 5 or 6.
I think I might have had a sweep there, but other way around.
Yeah, and in my mind, there was a hashtag going around after the series, and it was hashtag free Connor McDavid, and I have to agree.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, he didn't really show up in the series at all either. So you can't put all the blame on the team around him. You have to kind of put some of the blame on Connor McDavid.
I mean, is it on Connor, or is it on the other team that just knows that they can pretty much mark him and they're good, other than Draisaitl?
Yeah, and that could be it. You make a good point. Don't get me wrong, but
I mean, contain McDavid.
My whole thing is, okay, yeah, they were down 3-0 already in the series, but that last game, they're up 3-0.
Yeah,
and they lose in overtime. I just anymore, and I said this. I think in our podcast video about the first round. Edmonton will only go as far as a goalie takes them. And their goalie
took them nowhere.
Took them absolutely nowhere. So I think this offseason they have to address the goalie situation.
That or
They have to. But the thing is, they have to trade him. They're not actually going to release him.
Well, I know that, but all I can say is that his contract's up. See ya.
He's gone.
He's gone.
And my other thing is he deserves to be on a team that gets primetime television.
Imagine he goes to Toronto. Is in Toronto with Austin Matthews.
Well, I don't think that would happen.
Well, I don't think it would either. But just imagine that team.
Yeah, I don't think they'd be able to afford that though.
Well, no,
because Matthews is going to get paid. I mean, David wants to get paid, so I don't think they're going to be able to afford that.
I mean, if you don't have Tavares' contract on there anymore because he's getting up there in age.
That's true.
You don't have.
That's true.
You send off Marner, because I mean, you don't need Marner if you've got Austin Matthews and Connor McDavid.
Yeah, I mean, you make a very good point. I mean, I'll give you that. I don't know. I don't see. Sorry, I'm adjusting this a little bit because I noticed that it was a little low. I don't think Toronto would be able to take on that.
Well, I don't think they would either, but I'm just saying, imagine that team.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. Well, I mean, imagine Connor on
Boston.
Well, Boston,
oh,
but Boston wouldn't be able to afford it either.
True,
He has to go somewhere though. I mean, this is just. In my mind, it's getting ridiculous. I mean, you have, in my mind, Connor McDavid is the best player in hockey.
Generational player.
Yeah, and you have him now. I think the farthest he's made it in the playoffs is the second round once, in maybe his rookie year, and nothing else. I mean, and people are going to say, well, if he was such a good player, he'd be able to carry his team. One guy can only do so much in hockey. You can't, you're not going to be able to just carry your team to a Stanley Cup with one guy. Maybe if you were Gretzky back in the day, you could, but even Gretzky had other guys around him that were...
Curry.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, even Gretzky had guys around him. Joe Sakic had plenty of guys around him. You know, people... all these Hall of Famers had people around them. So you can't just say, oh, well, if he was good enough. I mean, even people are going to be like, well, Sidney Crosby won cups. Okay, Sidney Crosby still had Malkin. Okay, so...
Gensel.
Well, yeah, now he has Gensel. So, I mean, Ovechkin had Oshie.
Letang.
I didn't think it was Letang. So, I mean, they have plenty of
I think
other
the
guys.
only really position that you can say, that could carry a team to a Stanley Cup, is two. A goaltender and a defenseman. Because as a defenseman... You can potentially be on the ice for more than 20 minutes a game.
Yeah.
As a forward, you're not even close to that. You're 11, maybe 10, 12.
I think. Yeah, I would say 12 to 15, depending on how much power play time you get and stuff like that. But
I mean, as a top defenseman in the league, you can be 25.
Unless you're Patrick Kane, who the Blackhawks send out in the third period every other shift.
Yeah, that's true.
If they're down. So, I mean, and credit to him. I mean, I will say...
That just takes whole other conditioning, though.
Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously, we're Blues fans, and because he's on the Blackhawks, I can't stand him, but I have to say, I mean, Patrick Kane's a hell of a player to watch. I mean, I love watching Blues Blackhawks games to watch him play. I'll be honest. So,
yeah. I
mean, I know. We're getting off topic now, but... Winnipeg wins that series, and once again, Connor Hellebuck carries his team to second round.
Yeah, true.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. Connor Hellebuck is a very underrated goalie. In my mind, top 3 in the league.
Yeah.
No, in my mind, top 3.
If not top 3, I mean, at least top 5.
Yeah, at least top 5. At least top 5.
If he's not top 3, he's, top 4.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Yeah.
But, you want to just get this one out of the way and talk about the
West?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, in the West, we have the we have the Colorado Avalanche sweeping the St. Louis Blues. St. Louis Blues.
Yeah.
In a pretty convincing single-handedly. It was a butt kicking.
You know, say it was a series, to be honest.
No, well, here's my thing. Do I necessarily say that it was not a series? Obviously, yeah. I mean, they got swept in 4 games.
4 games that were not close.
No, well, okay. They weren't. Here's the thing. They weren't close. However, they were close to certain points. Do you see what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah, but at no point in any of the games was there any type of a panic of from the Avalanche's side, thinking like, "Oh, I'm going to lose this game."
Well, in the only game that, or I guess the game that I really thought, okay, if they cannot win this game with how he's playing, they're not winning a single game this series. Game 1.
Yeah.
Bennington stands on its head, keeps them in the game, and they still lose 4-1. I'm pretty sure it was 4-1 first game.
Yeah, and I mean,
so it's like was it 4-1 or 4-2? I know, or the 5-2. I know they ended up losing by like 3 or 4.
They lost by
3 or
3.
4.
Lost by 3 because they pulled the goalie with.
Yeah. But when Bennington stands on his head, I'm pretty sure he had like 49 saves that game.
Yeah.
And they can't pull out a win, it is what it is.
Yeah, and then, I mean, plus the game that we go to, Game 3. I mean, McKinnon had 1 point. Obviously, Nathan.
Oh, they shut the top line down, and they still lose 5-1.
Yeah.
I mean,
if you can't steal a game with.
Granted.
Now that game, I can say
the puck luck was definitely.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can say that game was not as a one-sided as it may sound.
No, there's
a bad goalie decision.
Well, we won't even get discussed about that. We had our discussion about that on the way home. Yeah. Actually in the arena too, but
as I sat down after I saw it.
Yeah, hey, we had fun. We drank some drinks, had a good time.
I had a lot of food.
Yeah. The only disappointing thing was they didn't have poutine.
I know.
That was definitely a disappointment, but
sure.
It was, here's the thing. Going into the series, regardless if the Blues were healthy or not, were they the underdogs? Definitely. And especially watching them in person. Speaking about Colorado, the speed, the skill, the size, just the physicality, clogging up the neutral zone. I'm going to say, me personally, I did not think the Avalanche were really as good as what people thought they were.
Yeah.
Watching them in person, and I know that obviously the Blues were very depleted.
Yeah.
It was night and day.
Like
you could tell which team was better.
Yeah, you hear all about players in the NHL and announcers saying oh, look how fast this guy is, things along those lines. You don't understand how quick Nathan McKinnon is until you're there and you see him with a puck on his stick.
I'll give you one better.
Because
watching Cale Makar in person for the first time was fantastic.
So boy.
McKinnon stud.
Yeah.
Makar stud.
Just the thing that really amazed me the most about McKinnon though is just how quick he's able to stop, change momentum, and change directions on a dime and go back to full speed.
And the other thing that impressed me in that game, especially, was it wasn't so much that, but it was the fact that some of just his shots and even Makar's shots. There's a guy standing right in front of him. Right in front of them, but their shots get through.
Gets through. Yeah.
They just find the open area and they can get it through, and
that's resulted in I think 2 rebound goals
in that game. Yes,
because I know the one that McKinnon the point that McKinnon had was an assist. He assisted.
I want to say
and shot one off the pad.
I was McKinnon's the one that
it was the wide open
that the rookie scored on.
Yeah. Okay. It was a wide open goal.
Yeah. And
he shot it off Bennington's pad.
And after watching them in person, I will go on here and say I truthfully see the Avalanche making it to the Stanley Cup final.
Oh yeah.
If they don't, I feel like it's an upset because that
team. We'll get to how dominant they are here in a little bit.
Yeah. Here's my thing. You have McKinnon and Makar already. Then you add in Landeskog, Sod. Rantanen.
Who's got a shot, by the way.
I mean, Kadri's coming back for physicality, which they don't even need him. They don't even need him, even though he's suspended. They don't need him.
8 games.
But here's my thing: they don't need him.
They don't. Yeah.
I mean, you have
Soderberg.
We'll get into like we said, them being dominant because they just played today against the next team that we'll talk about.
Yeah, we'll talk about that game.
Yeah, we'll talk about that game too. But we'll move on to and just say the Blues, in my mind, have to do something this offseason.
Yes.
Because
it'll be interesting to see the moves they make.
Because here's the thing, they're not anywhere close to the Avalanche, and the Avalanche aren't going to lose much this offseason.
No,
at all. Well, they might lose some pieces, but they're keeping their core.
Yeah,
and the Blues cannot compete with that core.
No,
at all.
No.
So, but the next teams, Minnesota and Vegas.
Yeah,
which it did.
In 7 games.
It did surprise me that it went 7 games.
I mean, Vegas won.
However, I think the better team won.
Yeah.
I will say
I did pick this series right, but I didn't.
I said games right. I think I said Vegas in 6.
I think I had a sweep.
I think. Yeah, I think I had Vegas in 6.
Yeah, I think you did too.
Maybe it was 5. It might have been 5.
You had 6. I had 5 because I said that they'd take a game, and you said that what's his name would take 2.
No, I think I said 5. I said unless Kaprizov scores. Oh. I think I said unless Kaprizov scores.
Whatever it was.
Whatever. That this series is not going to be close, and it was a lot closer than I thought.
Yeah.
They said that Minnesota won numerous games this season against Vegas, which I did not. And after watching them play against each other, Vegas did not look as good as what I thought they actually were the whole regular season. Like they didn't. Well, and we'll get into the game today where they really didn't look good, but they did not look good at all during this game, and specifically. Game was it game 3? I can't remember exactly what game it was, but the whole offense just looked way out of sync. And I mean, it's still Vegas. It's still a team that after this is their 4th year in the league, are still considered a top contender for the Stanley Cup every year, which is in my mind ridiculous.
Yeah.
But
what, playoffs every year?
Yeah.
Stanley Cup final
first year go to the Stanley Cup final.
Second year
they lose the Stanley Cup final. Second year they lose second round or conference finals. I can't remember.
Well, this year the Blues won.
Was it?
Yeah.
Or was it the year?
No.
Or no, because it was Washington.
Because Perron won. Or was in back-to-back finals.
That's right.
So it was Vegas was there, and then the Blues won the next year.
Yeah. So
I think they lost first round that year.
Yes.
Because Blues played Stars, Winnipeg.
Because the Blues played Winnipeg first,
then Dallas,
and I think the Sharks beat Vegas. Because Dallas beat Colorado.
Yeah.
In 7 games, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Playoffs every year.
Yeah. Anyway, so Vegas.
Franchise.
Yeah, Vegas beats Minnesota. I think Minnesota has a hell of a future coming up.
Great young team.
They are going to be very, very, very good next year. And again, another team that kind of plays the speed game.
Yeah.
And personally, and I don't want to get talking about the Blues again, but if you look at the top 3 teams in this division, Colorado, speed.
Yep.
Vegas, speed. Minnesota, speed. Vegas still has speed.
I mean, they have speed. They're a balanced team because they've got physicality too.
Well, yeah, but I guess what I mean is they have. I mean, if you look at the Blues, they're gonna dump it in, get the puck in deep, and then try to forecheck.
Yeah.
They're not gonna have just speed.
I'm not gonna skate by anybody.
We saw that. I mean, we talked about this. You have Kyrou.
Yeah.
Speed. Tarasenko's no longer fast.
Thomas,
speed, I guess. But I mean, who else do you have? I mean, I want to see Costin get some ice time because he's fast as hell. But I mean, I guess you have Vince Dunn. Sundquist,
he's not fast, but I mean, he's above average.
I mean, I will say in that series, if you have a guy like Sundquist, Perron.
Oh, Perron. He's a little quicker.
I mean, even if you have maybe Vince Dunn playing, depending on what Vince Dunn shows up, that series might be a little different, but the Avalanche are still winning.
Who they've got for speed? Well, Zach Sanford.
On that note, we're going to the next stuff. So today, in round 2 of that side of the bracket, because I want to get off this Zach Sanford topic.
Avalanche and Vegas.
The Avalanche play. Well, hold on. Do I want to say they even played like they even played, because it was more of the Avalanche showed up and Vegas, I guess, were still in the locker room because the final score was 7-1. And at one point in this game, unless the picture we saw was
it was not.
Was a misinterpretation.
9-minute power play.
Yeah, the Avalanche had an 8.5-minute power play.
Yeah. And
the score was already 6-1 at that time.
It was 6-1.
So, yeah. This was a. I will say this. People making fun of the Blues for playing the Avalanche and losing in 4 straight. The Blues never lost 7-1, folks.
Might have been 5-1, but
now,
it wasn't 7-1.
I will say this, Braden, because we said the same thing when the Blues were in the Stanley Cup Final. No matter if you win 1-0 or if you win 7-1, it only counts as a 1-0 series lead.
I mean, that might be true, but Vegas was supposed to be the.
But they
were saying that Vegas was going to beat Colorado, and if they continue to play how they played tonight, they are going to get blown out every game.
Yeah.
And this might be the smallest defeat margin if they play like this.
Yeah. But I mean, you understand what I'm saying.
I see what you're saying, though. Yes, it's a 1-0. It's a 1-0 series lead, regardless of how much they lost by. I agree, but momentum is definitely on the side of the Avalanche.
Yeah, 100%.
For sure. There's a chink in the Knight's armor.
Well, and here's the other thing. I think the momentum.
Did you get that, by the way?
Yeah, I got you. I think the momentum was already in the Avalanche's favor because, I mean, and a lot of people said after this game, well, Vegas played a 7-game series beforehand, so like they were a little banged up.
True.
It's the playoffs, folks. If everybody's banged up, no matter if you play 7 games, 4 games, everyone's banged up. They played the whole season.
Yeah.
So this is what I personally did not understand. So Robin Lehner started this game for Vegas.
Correct. Yeah.
That was his first start, or did he start game 7?
I'm not sure.
No, it was Fleury. Never mind. I'm pretty sure it was Fleury.
Yeah, how you don't have Flower starting that?
Yeah, that's my thing.
Fleury, I guess, but Flower
he has played lights out most of the year and in the playoffs.
I mean, it's Flower.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But you bring in Leonard, who, don't get me wrong, has played fantastic this year. He was only not playing because of I believe a concussion and headache symptoms. But why are you not riding the goaltender who has been playing fantastic, is known for playoff hockey?
I mean, yeah.
Against the best team in hockey right now. I did not get that at all.
I'm gonna say.
I mean, obviously, I'm not a coach, so
I'm gonna say that Fleury starts the next game.
I would.
I hope so.
Here's my thing. After that first goal that Colorado scored on the backhand, I would have pulled Leonard on that.
Yeah.
Let alone the fact that they lost 7-1.
That's pretty bad.
But that first one, I'm sorry, that has to be stopped.
Yeah.
That has to be stopped.
Yeah. So Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yeah.
I don't know how you're not starting him,
Yeah.
but
moving on. Do you want to go?
I mean, we can. So just finishing up that side of the bracket. The second round for the other playoff matchup hasn't obviously been decided yet with Toronto and Montreal still.
If we want to do our predictions for this next round on that side of the bracket, I'm saying Toronto beats Montreal because I already picked that. So I'm saying Toronto over Winnipeg in 7.
Yeah. I'm gonna say, I think Toronto wins that series, or wins like the Game 7. But even if the Canadiens win Game 7, I still think that they beat Winnipeg. So
yeah,
I'm saying the winner of that series beats Winnipeg. I'm gonna say 6.
Yeah, I'll put it this way: if Toronto wins, I'm saying they beat Winnipeg in 7. If the Canadiens win, I could see Winnipeg winning that series, but I would still say Canadiens in 7. I say whoever wins that series, the other one goes 7. I just, for whatever reason, Winnipeg is just an underrated team this year, and I think Hellebuck can win them some games.
Yeah. So what about the Avalanche in Vegas?
Obviously, we just saw like the first game of this series today.
Yeah.
I still think Vegas pulls out a couple wins. I think Colorado wins this in 5 or 6, and more than likely. This is what's hard about this is because they started Leonard today. Yeah. If it was Fleury in net and they lost 7-1, I would say sweep.
Yeah.
Because Fleury was not playing, I want to say Vegas can win a couple or one with him in net. So I want to say Colorado in 5 or 6.
Nail it down. Which one? 5 or 6?
6.
Okay.
Colorado in 6.
Colorado in 5.
Okay.
At the most.
Well, at home. Because I just realized Game 6 would be in Vegas.
Yeah.
So
I
still stay in 6.
I'm still saying 5. At the most. I think Vegas takes one game, if that.
Okay.
Well,
but over to the
other side
of the bracket. I called this.
I did not.
And I told you this is a team that is just they're very good defensively.
Yeah. So Pittsburgh and the
New York Islanders.
New York Isles.
And the Islanders beat Pittsburgh 4-2. I watched a decent amount of this series, not as much as I wanted to.
The kid let me down.
What?
Said the kid let me down.
Well, you should have known that was coming.
Oh yeah.
But the Islanders, they're just scrappy, and that's the reason why I picked them and not just that, but Barry Trotz. That guy gets his team for whatever reason he can coach his team in the playoffs, and I picked that series. I'm pretty sure I want to say I picked them to go to the conference finals. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I picked them to go to the conference finals also. But I also didn't have them playing against the team they're playing up against next. So, But did you want to say anything else about that series?
Not really. The kid let me down. Barry Trotz, great coach. Obviously, coached his team a lot better than Pittsburgh. So
I forgot Pittsburgh's coach now.
It's irrelevant. They're out of the playoffs.
Yeah, they're out of the playoffs. But in the other series, and this was kind of a shocker to me,
Washington and Boston.
Boston beats Washington 4-1.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I had the Capitals win in 6.
I had the Capitals as well. I think I
had it in 6 or 7.
I think I had it in 6.
But once again, and I will say this: Taylor Hall is making a difference in Boston. That team with him on it is looking very, very good. And the fact that you don't even remember that they have Zucker on that team is crazy.
Yeah, it kind of makes you think obviously, just on the Taylor Hall subject, it kind of makes you think what's going on in Buffalo. If he wasn't playing like this in Buffalo, because he had players, a player in Buffalo as well.
Jack Eichel.
Jack Eichel. But, I mean, is it necessarily that he's just kind of flying under the radar and that he's not a star? I mean, he's a star player, but he's not the guy or the second guy.
I think
Boston. He's like the fourth.
Yeah, I think, and we talked about that when we talked about the trade deadline.
Yeah,
is Taylor Hall can go there, not be the guy, and
not
be able
a
to
goal scorer.
Yeah, be able to just play a role. The whole thing with not Boston, but with Buffalo, I personally think it's more so the fact that they just have so much drama going on.
It's a mess.
Everyone wants out. They're more than likely, and they've already kind of said this, they're probably losing Eichel this offseason.
About time.
He's demanded a trade. He demanded a trade at the trade deadline. They didn't trade him.
About time.
And
Should've
he's
gone like 2 years ago.
Yeah, he's asking to be out. And what I have heard, numerous rumors are that I guess the Blues are in on making a trade to get him.
Man.
We'll get into that maybe on a different podcast.
Yeah,
but you might be shocked about my take on that. I don't know. Do I think that it's because he just didn't fit in well with Buffalo? It's a possibility. Because you can't tell me that it's because he's on a better team that he somehow is scoring goals and playing at this caliber.
Do you think maybe it's a situation where, I mean, obviously Taylor Hall, everywhere he's gone, he's been the guy. He's been the goal scorer, or he's been the player. He's had to be a goal scorer. He's had to, provide the offense. Same thing with Buffalo. I mean, even playing with Jack Eichel, he still had to be a big goal scorer. And had to be like that, presence of, locker room leader and things along those lines. Obviously, I mean, everywhere he's gone it's been kind of rumored that he's a bad teammate, locker room cancer. Him coming into Boston and him stepping into, like, not necessarily, he's not going to be in that role with Boston because, I mean, you've got Bergeron, who is the guy there. I mean, it could be a situation where he stepped into that locker room, and Bergeron was like, "All right, dude, like we've heard about what's happened in locker rooms. That ain't happening here."
Well, and it could have also been Bergeron came up to him and said, "Hey, A, it's not going to happen here, and B, this is your role, play it, or you're still going to be on the team, but we don't give a shit."
Yeah,
like.
I mean, because that first line is everything in Boston.
Well, and the other thing is, Taylor Hall had other options of being traded, and I want to say the Blues were one team that were going to trade for him, and he said he wanted to play for Boston.
Yeah.
So it could have also been something in regards to the area, the team, the history. I don't know.
A combination of everything. I mean,
but I will say,
he's played really well.
A lot of people have said in Buffalo. I mean, Ryan O'Reilly was one of them. He lost his love for the game. Maybe that happened to Taylor Hall as well. I mean, he was only there for not even a full season,
half a year.
So I don't know. I mean,
now already.
It's hard telling, but yeah, I mean, Taylor Hall has looked fantastic in Boston so far. So.
Yeah.
So the Islanders will play Boston next round. Do you want to do that prediction now, or do you want to just wait until we get the?
Let's finish the other side.
Okay.
Or finish the bottom half.
Okay.
So the bottom half of that bracket was the let's see here, the Carolina Hurricanes going up against the Nashville Predators, with the Hurricanes winning that series. A lot closer than I was thinking it was going to be, but 6 games.
I'm pretty sure I said sweep.
I think I said sweep as well.
But I think I said sweep because I just hate Nashville. I don't think it was because I actually
I thought that Carolina was going to just roll over.
Yeah, realistically, I really did think Carolina was going to win this in 5.
Carolina's a lot more impressive than what people are really giving them.
Yeah. And, I mean, I guess credit to Nashville. I mean, obviously with that fan base and that arena, you can say that they maybe stole a couple games. I don't know. But
I mean, fun.
It was. I don't know if you saw this, but on Twitter, like the Predators actually blocked the Carolina Hurricanes because of what they posted after the game.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, Nashville has a tendency to put up banners for stupid stuff.
Yeah.
And let's just say Carolina took advantage of that, and they definitely made a tweet that was, in my mind, it was hilarious. But I guess as a Nashville fan and stuff, people took offense to it. And Nashville basically blocked Carolina on Twitter. So
did you see the Carolina's response to that?
Yes,
they posted
a
picture of
and they
it.
said, "We've got friends in low places."
Yep.
And I retweeted that because that was hilarious.
It's great, yeah.
But yeah,
definitely a lot closer series than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, and the thing is, it could have went either way because I think 4 of those games went to overtime.
Yeah.
So it's not like it was a one-sided series. Like 4 of those games went to overtime.
Yeah, I think that if Nashville would have won that series, I think they were going to. I think that regardless of who they played in the next round, I think that they were going to be done. I just think I just think that the style of play that Carolina has, I think matched up with Nashville really well.
Yes.
And then depending on, if they played Tampa or Florida,
yeah,
I think they would have got. I think they would have.
Yeah. Well, and we'll get into that to the next series, Tampa against Florida. Tampa does win this series in 6, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, in
14.
6. But I tell you what, this was the most entertaining series of the first round.
I thought it was going to be too.
It was a bloodbath.
Yeah.
I mean, just the first game alone, I believe there was 24 penalty minutes.
Yeah.
And these two teams definitely put on a show. Obviously, in my mind, I think the better team won.
Yeah.
The better overall team.
It would have been nice to see the Panthers.
Oh yeah, I mean, and here's the thing. Quenneville has definitely turned the Panthers around.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people don't think of, when you think of hockey teams in Florida, you think of Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
You don't think of the Florida Panthers.
And he stepped into a good situation there in Florida with already having Huberdeau and already having Barkov.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely Bobrovsky now.
Right? No. I think they have No. Yeah, I think you're right. Never mind.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that Bobrovsky is on Florida. But either way, so I mean, Quenneville steps into
for whatever reason. I was thinking, they have Bobrovsky, but I want to say the last games it was Spencer Knight.
Yeah, I mean they've got a good,
but yes, they have
goaltending, a good goaltending core,
and then
just in general.
The Drieger guy was also started.
Drieger,
yeah. In that series, it was weird to me because they had numerous goalies play. It was weird.
Or the rotation, and not just who was hot.
Yeah,
I think
the reason why I thought it was Holtby was because Holtby was looking at going to Florida. And then he went to Vancouver, and Markstrom went to Calgary.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I was going to say Holtby, and I was like, no, that's not right. Never mind.
But yeah, so I mean, Quenneville definitely steps into a good situation there with already having star players in Huberdeau and Barkov.
Oh yeah.
Obviously having Spencer Knight coming up and Bobrovsky and
it'll be interesting with Spencer Knight playing so well.
Yeah.
To see who they expose in the expansion draft.
I think it has to be Bobrovsky.
Well, and I tell you what,
that contract too.
Yeah, if they expose Bobrovsky, Seattle would be stupid not to take him. Depending on who other teams expose as goalies, they would be stupid not to take a guy like Bobrovsky.
Yeah.
But
it's just like Vegas taking Fleury.
Fleury, not Leonard.
Yeah.
The thing, so I don't know if you knew this, and this is kind of another tangent that we're going on, but the way that Vegas did their drafting and signing players, I guess this year for Seattle, they're going to do it differently because Vegas should not have gotten away with what they did with the cap room. their first year.
I mean, take advantage of what you can, though.
Well, no, yeah, like it wasn't a rule back then. So, I
Yeah.
mean, what they did was perfectly fine. But I guess now, because, I don't know if it's because the success that Vegas has had, they don't want another team to come in and have that good of a success or what. But,
I mean,
here's my thing. I, personally, do I hate Vegas now because of how successful they are? 100%. But I don't, like, I loved watching them their first year because it was that. Like, it was a whole bunch of, like, in all honesty, what they called them their first year was a whole bunch of misfits. Nobody wanted these guys on their team, and they all came together and made it to, Game 6 of the Stanley Cup?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. It's interesting, but I think in that series, Kucherov came back, played like Kucherov.
Yeah.
I
think that was a really... I mean, honestly... I mean, Florida Panthers... they had opportunities, but I think the best... Their hope and their best chance of winning that series was Kucherov coming back and not being fully himself.
Yeah.
As soon as he came back and was clicking on all cylinders, I think it was
and my thing was, you saw
doors are closing.
Yeah, you saw it in the first game. I think he had 2 goals in the first game.
Yeah.
So it was like, hey, Kucherov's back, and there was actually a lot of talk, and I don't know the stipulations of this or not, but there was a lot of talk that Kucherov has actually been healthy for a while now, and the reason why he didn't come back was for them to be able to get away with their cap room.
Again, I mean, if you could get away with it,
and my thing was, people were making a big deal about it, but it's like,
take advantage of the system.
Other teams could do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
If a guy wanted to be injured, and
I mean, obviously, was already injured, and I mean, it very well could have been a situation where because he was injured. He very well could have been a situation where he was wanting to make sure, and Tampa was wanting to make sure that he was fully 100% back to normal, and he wasn't going to injure himself in a rough playoff series.
Yeah, well,
or in a rough end of the regular season game.
And another team that could have done this, in all honesty, this year, if they would have been good enough to make the playoffs could have done it.
I mean, yeah.
They could have signed somebody at the trade deadline, put Taves on. She was already on long-term IR because he missed the entire season.
Yeah.
Which I still haven't heard anything, and we'll talk about that in a later podcast too.
Yeah.
About if his was mental health, if it was actually an injury, if he's coming back, if he's retiring. There's a lot of speculation. But if they were good enough, they probably could have done that too. They already had him on there. They could have made a trade at the deadline, signed, just a temp, or what do they call it? There's an actual name.
A rental player?
Rental player. There we go. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. But a rental player for the playoffs, and who knows? Maybe they make a run. But in my mind, obviously I don't want to bash the Blackhawks, but they're probably a few years away. They have a very young core, which is going to be great.
Think of where they were this year and they didn't have Taves, and you also have to think they didn't have Doc either.
Yeah, they didn't have Doc for a lot of the year.
Which 90% of the year.
You could argue though that they played better without Doc.
Well, okay, but he was out. I don't even know if he played a regular season game this year. If he did,
he played a couple.
I'll say if he did, he played 2.
Yeah,
because he was injured in the juniors.
Yeah, he in my mind he came back a little sooner than he probably should have. But he did play. I want to say the last month and a half.
Well, still, if he's not coming back at 100%, and then he only played a couple of games at 100% at the beginning of the year.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely looking good.
Getting back to the bracket, Braden. So what is your? So we're gonna go back to the New York Islanders and Boston, right?
Yeah.
For predictions. What's your prediction in that one?
Well, Boston's already up in this series 1-0.
Yeah. They are.
I went against the Islanders in the first round, and they played really well against Pittsburgh. And I really don't want to go with Boston.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to go with Boston. I think with how well Taylor Hall is playing, and then with the perfection line.
Oh, yeah.
McAvoy's played fantastic defense. I think Boston ends up winning this. I think it's gonna be in 6. I think that the Islanders put up a good fight, but and I think they're gonna be all close games. But I think that Boston ends up winning in 6.
Yeah, and I think originally I had picked the Islanders, which I know that we only did like the first round last time, but I think I said that I had the Islanders going to the conference finals regardless. I personally I'm going to change my pick as well, and it's not because I think we both agree I cannot stand Boston.
Yeah.
But the Islanders, in my mind, are only going to go as far as Barzal can pretty much take them. Obviously they have a little bit more talent on their team than like Edmonton has with McDavid.
Yeah.
But
or maybe a more well-rounded.
Yeah, like a more well-rounded team.
Yeah.
I just Boston's just looking too good.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that Pasternak has still not really been clicking on all fires or all cylinders, not all fires. I'm an idiot. You still have Marchand, who I can't stand, but he's still a great goal scorer. Bergeron, Taylor Hall, McAvoy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard.
It's hard to go against them.
This is my thing. The only way that the Islanders win this series, in my mind, is if Tuukka Rask just stops playing.
Yeah, if he stops stopping pucks.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, Braden, he's a goalie, but
well, I mean, yeah.
No, like if he just they're gonna have to get some cheap goals.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to keep the perfection line off the board, and if they can do that, maybe. But
maybe it's big.
But this is my thing. Even then, you still have Taylor Hall on his line with Zucker. I'm pretty sure he's with Zucker.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it.
And you still have to get through the defense of McAvoy, and
Yeah, I have personally Boston in. I agree with you, Boston in 6.
Yeah.
And if it's not 6, this is my thing. I don't see it going 7. So if it's not Boston in 6, it's Boston in 5.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see the series going 7 games. And that's nothing against Islanders. I still think they're a great team. I still think they're very well coached, very well defensively, but Boston's just clicking on all cylinders right now.
Again, like you said, the thing that they have to do is they're going to have to keep if they're going to win, they have to keep the perfection line off the board, and that's a big if.
Yeah.
It's a big if.
Yeah.
So
if they go on the other one, we have Carolina and Tampa. Tampa already leads this series 1-0. So who do you got in this one? Or do you want me to go first?
You can go first.
I can't remember who. I got both of these right. I know I picked Tampa Bay and Carolina, but I can't remember what I said about who I thought was going to make it to the conference finals. Mm-hmm. Personally, I still like Carolina. Mm-hmm. The problem is I'm not picking them. And it's not because I don't think that they have a good team, and obviously they've played fantastic all year. Mm-hmm. Still playing fantastic hockey. I think the last game, the game today was 2-1 or something like that. Mm-hmm. But Tampa Bay was there last year. They won it last year. They have the experience. Kucherov is showing that he's healthy.
Yeah. And
hasn't played all year. I have to go Tampa Bay. I think it's going to be Tampa Bay in 7.
Think so?
I think this series goes 7. The only way that Tampa Bay wins in 6 is if they come back home with a 3-2 lead, which could happen. But I don't know. I think Carolina is
Carolina's a scrappy good team.
Yeah, and this is going to be a great series to watch. I give the edge at this point to Tampa Bay because they won it last year. That's really the only reason.
Yeah.
That and Kucherov's healthy and coming back from not playing all year, so he has fresh legs.
See, I'm gonna go the other way. I'm gonna go with Carolina in 7. I think that obviously, I think most people had Tampa Bay beating Florida, and I mean it might have been a little closer than what most people were thinking. But most people were thinking that Tampa Bay was going to win that series, and it wasn't going to be It wasn't going to be as close as it was.
See, and I think we both agreed that I think we both said that's going to be a close series.
Yeah. So, whereas Tampa's, they came out, they played well, and ended up winning that series against Florida. I think that the exact opposite happened for Carolina. I think that Carolina comes in and they play Nashville. They were fully expected to blow Nashville out.
Yeah, I mean, I had them blowing them out.
And Carolina Nashville ended up playing Carolina a lot better than what most people were thinking. So I think Carolina's going to come out. Obviously, they lost this first game, but I think this series they're going to have a big chip on their shoulder, wanting to show people, like, hey, this is why we're here. Like, we've played good all year. That first series, they had, like I said, I think that Nashville's style of play just matched up really well with Carolina's. And especially with losing this first game, I think that Carolina is going to come back, game 2, game 3. I think they win both of those games. And I think Tampa then pulls it even at a 2-2. But
yeah.
I think this is going to go 7 games. If it doesn't go 7, I don't think it's going to be 6 or 5.
No, yeah, no.
But it's for sure going 6 or 7.
I think this series is 100% going 6 or 7 games.
And I think Carolina.
And I picked Tampa Bay right now, but I agree with you. This could easily go Carolina.
Yeah.
This series in my mind is a huge toss up, and I personally think it's going to come down to just greasy goals.
Who wants it more, honestly?
Timely goals, and which team gets the puck bounces. I mean, I think that's what it's going to come down to. And again, like you said, who wants it more? Who's willing to sacrifice the body more? Who's willing to take, block the shots? Who's willing to get screens in front of the net? I mean, that's what it's going to come. That's what it's going to take.
Yeah, whose defenders are taking a knee and taking block shots at the end of the game after a hard fought game.
Yeah.
Who's, at the net front battle, a minute left in the third period in a close game. I mean,
I think the only other reason why I would pick Tampa Bay in this series over Carolina is I personally trust Vasilevsky more than I would trust. Who's Carolina's goalie? Gosh darn it.
No, I mean, there's your point.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, in my mind, Vasilevsky is definitely top 3 in the league.
Yeah, he's definitely solid.
I mean, that's my point. I mean, I don't remember who Carolina's goalie is.
I mean, you've also got, Kucherov, Stanley.
Well,
you've got
Braden Point.
Yeah.
I mean, Victor Hedman. I mean, you had, Tampa Bay is,
loaded.
I mean,
loaded and ready to go.
Talk about loaded teams. I mean, God, could you imagine a Tampa Bay Colorado final?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly,
I know that earlier that I said, imagine McDavid on Toronto. Imagine McDavid with Colorado.
Well,
that's never going to happen, but I understand that.
Yeah, it actually...
You get Landeskog's contract off there.
Well, here's the thing.
McDavid is willing to take a pay cut to play with McKinnon and Rantanen and...
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. McKinnon's already on a pay cut. if you look at McKinnon's contract compared to a lot of other players, McKinnon's not making very much.
Well, and if I'm just saying, if McDavid is willing to go to a winning team and take less money to play with other stars, you have McDavid, McKinnon, Rantanen,
McCarr, I don't think it's going to happen because
even Tampa.
McKinnon's going to take a pay cut, or if McKinnon takes a pay cut, then sure. But I don't think McKinnon's going to take a pay cut.
No, McDavid.
McDavid. I mean, I don't see
he wants to go to a winning team that bad.
Yeah, if he does, but my thing is he's going to want to get paid, and he's not going to
take a 1-year contract.
Win a cup.
Take a 1-year contract, win a cup, and then go back and then go to another team where
here's my thing.
Get paid.
Here's my thing. If he goes to Colorado and you have McKinnon and McDavid on the same fucking line, dude, I'm not even kidding you. I will pay to go get glass seats to watch that.
Oh yeah.
I don't even care.
That just happens. That happens in every sport though. Because if you even think about it, it's not necessarily the same thing, but just think about what Dwayne Wade did whenever he went to the Bulls. He wanted to go. He didn't. Yeah. He took a. I don't know about take a pay cut, but he went to Chicago because he wanted to play in Chicago.
Well, but
played there for half a year or played there for a year and then left.
But here's the thing though. Would you say that's a little different than because Dwayne Wade, that was his last years of his career?
Well, I agree, but I'm just saying in his prime. Well, I'm just saying he's going to a team that he wants to go to. Even though he could make better money somewhere else.
That's true. I give you that much.
And then go there for a year. Granted, he wasn't going to Chicago to win a championship. That's for sure.
Oh, fuck.
But if McDavid wants to go and take a pay cut 1 year to go possibly win a championship with a championship caliber team without him,
come to the Blues.
Yeah, right. He wants to go to a championship contender.
Hey, they're...
Don't even say it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We're Blues fans. They're not contenders.
Yeah.
They're pretenders.
There you go. There's a good one.
But we should probably get off this whole hockey topic.
Yeah.
We will follow along again and talk about it going into the conference finals. So
yeah,
be ready for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But how about this day in the old sports history, Brayden?
So on this day in sports history, which I did it for May 30th, which at this point technically it's yesterday, but
who cares?
We started on May 30th.
We started on May 30th. Doesn't matter.
So on this day, May 30th, 1894, the Boston Bean Eaters, second baseman Bobby Lowe becomes the first Major League Baseball player to hit 4 home runs in a game.
Impressive.
Good for him.
Impressive.
Then we've got and I don't know why this was on in sports history.
Oh, God.
But I found it to be interesting. In 1896, there was the first reported car accident. Again, I don't know why it was in sports history, but first car accident occurs in 1896, and even had the driver's name of Henry Wells, and he hit a bicyclist in New York City. So some things never change because people still get hit on bicycles in New York City.
I guess my question is was Henry Wells a sports figure of that time?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. But flash forward a couple of years to 1935. And May 30th, 1935 was Babe Ruth's final Major League Baseball game.
What year was that?
Which one? The car accident?
Yeah.
1896.
Okay, it wouldn't have been this guy then. Never mind.
Yeah. So,
because he would have been 6 years old driving. So
it's maybe. It was a car accident.
Because he was a rower for the Olympics. But he was born in 1891. So
no, I don't think so.
I'm gonna say probably not him.
But yeah. So 1935 was Babe Ruth's final game on this day.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, I wish I could have saw him play.
Yeah. Then fast forward another couple of years, and you go to 1970. This is the one that I was talking to you about.
A couple of years?
Just a couple.
Okay.
So this is the one that I told you about. I was going to catch you off guard with this one.
Okay.
1970, May 30th. Tigers Al Kaline. Big player, right? I bet you didn't know this. Collided with another player And he swallowed his own tongue. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
How?
I told you I was going to catch you off guard. Swallows his own tongue after colliding with another player. In a game, by the way.
How does that happen, though? Like, even if you collide with another player, like, how do you, like...
Maybe he was, like, gasping, and then, like, his tongue was in the back of his throat, and then he swallowed, and I don't know.
Well, first off,
Maybe he, like, had his tongue out, like he was trying to go Michael Jordan mode before Michael Jordan, and then, like, accidentally bit, but his...
Okay, but even then, like, how do you swallow your own tongue, even if you bite it?
I mean, I've heard of it happening, so I mean, I know it happens.
I understand that, but like,
I don't know. I'm not privy to the science of that.
I'm not going to get into all that. That's but to me that's
then
okay.
1 year later, in 1971,
It happens again.
No.
Oh.
Willie Mays hits his 638th career home run and sets a National League record of 1,950 runs scored.
Nice. Willie Mays Hayes?
I mean, close enough. And then since then, nothing else has happened. So,
well,
nothing exciting.
This day in sports history.
This day in sports history.
Good job.
Like, that's what we like to hear.
The swallow the tongue thing. I'm probably.
I told you.
I'm probably gonna look up how this actually happened.
I told you I was gonna catch you off guard. So
I'm just curious now. I'm probably gonna stay awake this whole night looking up like how do you swallow your own tongue.
Well, the government might start looking at stuff on there if you're Googling how to swallow your own tongue.
The government already spies on people. Who cares?
All right, well, jumping over.
I have a chip in me anyway for taking the vaccine.
Oh,
so
God,
it doesn't matter at this point.
Here we go. All right, so jumping over to the PGA Tour.
Yeah, this is all you. I didn't watch this one.
I watched all of it today.
So this is all you, and I'll give you my 2 cents.
So the Charles Schwab Challenge, which is at Colonial Country Club in Fort Worth, Texas. The top 5 finishers in the event were number 1. The winner of the event was Jason Kokrak at 14 under. Number 2 was Jordan Spieth, and then there was a 4-way tie for third place at 10 under. Jordan Spieth was at 12 under. So third place, the 4 people that tied were Charlie Hoffman, Patton Kazir, Sebastian Munoz, and Ian Poulter, all tied at 10 under. Kokrak played very solid. I mean, him and Jordan Spieth both were... I mean, they played horrific. Well, for PGA Tour standards.
Well, yeah.
They played horrific for the first, 5 holes. And Jason just got it under control a lot better than Jordan did.
Jordan didn't.
Yeah, Jordan did not. I mean, Jordan had a fantastic tournament. First 3 rounds of the tournament, shooting a 7 under the first round, shooting 4 under the second and third round, and then ended up shooting plus 3 over, and shot 3 over in the final round. So
at this point, when was Jordan Spieth's last win?
Earlier this year.
Oh, was it?
Yep, he won earlier this year. But yeah, Jason Kokrak ended up taking the win today, and like I said, I mean, he put himself into some tough spots, the back 9, and honestly left the door open the last 4 or 5 holes for Jordan to really step up and hit a big shot, and Jordan just couldn't do it. He had an interview, or not really an interview. He was walking up the fairway of, I think it was 16, and the on-course reporter just had said something to him while they were walking, and he said, in his own words, said that it's hard to win a golf tournament when on the final day you can't do anything. Mm-hmm. He said that all of his, he wasn't having any luck with lies, and all of his, anytime he hit the ball off the fairway, which I mean, you want to be on the fairway, but anybody that golfs, obviously you can't hit it there every time. Even professionals don't hit it there every time. But
you're not going to hit every single fairway. And if you do, you might have one hell of a day golf.
Yeah, his lies in the rough were terrible. And I mean, like, the camera zooming in on the ball in the rough, and you couldn't see the ball.
Nice.
Like, you couldn't, like, even with him at address with the golf club behind the ball, you couldn't see the golf club face or the head. It was bad. And I mean, he had a ball in the water on 18.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was only one shot back at that point, but he had a really good tournament. He had opportunities to really take advantage of Kokrak bogeying 15 and 16 and then parring 17 and 18, but couldn't take advantage of it. So what's that do for the FedEx Cup rankings? Well, actually, I will say that Ian Poulter, masterful, like, last 2 holes. He made on 17 and 18, made 2 birdies. Both putts were like 30 plus feet.
Oh shit!
To get into a tie for a 10 under. So I mean, great putting the last 2 holes. But FedEx Cup rankings, you still have Bryson DeChambeau is still number 1. You still got, and Jordan Spieth who was actually at 9, and prior to this week jumped up to 2. And if Jordan would have won today, he would have jumped up to number 1 in the FedEx Cup rankings. So I mean, lost the tournament, moving up to number 1, but he jumps up to number 2. So definitely good for him. Justin Thomas at 3, Victor Hovland at 4, and then Jason Kokrak with the win today jumps up to 5. So
I think what surprises me is Bryson DeChambeau is still first.
I mean, Bryson's had a very, not necessarily very underrated, because I mean, he's one of the bigger talking points in golf right now.
Yeah.
But
like, you
he's having a quiet,
what I mean by that.
He's having, for as much of publicity and as many eyes are on him currently, he's still having a pretty underrated great year. And I mean, for anybody that watches golf and anybody that hasn't really done much or hasn't really seen much over the last, since COVID started and all the things along those lines, since COVID started and between when golf was kind of not necessarily taken away, but whenever the PGA Tour wasn't going on to now, he is massive.
Mm-hmm. I
mean, he is huge, and he's done a bunch of other stuff, but he's done a very underrated great year. And I mean, plus, just sticking on golf. I mean, the last time that we really, last weekend, not this weekend, but last weekend, we had Phil that won the Players.
Yeah.
So I mean,
he beasted.
He definitely had a slow start to his final round in the Players, but found a way to right the ship. Unlike Jordan. So I mean,
PGA Championship.
Yeah. So yeah.
He like and I could be wrong about this. I don't want to, because obviously I think we both know. I don't watch golf as much as I probably should. But if I remember correctly, he only got to play at the PGA Championship because he was invited. He didn't actually qualify. We're talking about Phil.
Yeah.
So for him to win it, I thought it was kind of funny. Personally. Obviously with his career, he was trying to get invited regardless.
Yeah, it goes just goes to show that you're never, too old to win a third.
Well, and he became the oldest person to win a major. So not
a major, but oldest. Well, yeah.
No, it was a major, wasn't it? It's PGA Championship.
Oh, yeah.
So I want to say it's a major.
PGA.
Yeah. So I think it's. Well, no, I don't think it's the oldest to win just any PGA. But I think it's the oldest to win a major. I could be wrong about that, so don't quote me. But I know for sure he was the oldest to win something. I want to say major. But anyway, you okay over there?
Yeah, I was just looking to see. So it's looking like the next tournament for PGA is going to be the Memorial.
Ooh, is that a major?
No.
No, but
No,
it is
at
a pretty.
This is at Muirfield. This is like Jack Nicklaus's.
Yeah. I knew the course sounded.
But we are getting closer and closer to the coveted U.S. Open.
Yes. Where's that at this year?
That is at Torrey Pines.
Ooh, I'm watching that.
I'm definitely looking forward to.
I'm definitely watching
Torrey
that one.
Pines U.S. Open. I mean,
it's not gonna be as good as when it was in St. Louis, but you know.
See, my thing, there's certain courses that I enjoy watching.
TPC Sawgrass.
Yeah.
Sawgrass, hole 17.
But see, that's really for that one hole.
Yes.
But
Dude,
as far as watching a whole tournament, if you have a U.S. Open at Torrey Pines, or a U.S. Open at Bethpage, or a U.S. Open at Pebble Beach,
yeah,
or if you have like the Open Championship at St. Andrews, or
okay, dude, when
the
was
Masters at Augusta.
When was the last time they played at St. Andrews? That's the real question.
A couple years ago.
Was it?
Uh-huh.
So I knew it was a bit. Well, obviously, I know with COVID they couldn't really do it last year, obviously, because they weren't allowed to travel out of the country, were they?
No.
Okay.
But
I didn't think
for anybody that's curious, 2022 Open Championships is at St. Andrews.
Ooh, so we're going, right?
Bet. I'll go. 100%.
Yeah.
I won't be in school at that point. I'll be done.
I tell you what, I'll let you talk to my wife about that.
It's next year.
Yeah, exactly. I was talking to my wife about that.
Yeah.
But getting off of golf.
Yeah, getting off of golf.
Do we want to do? We're doing top 5 now, right?
Top 5. Let's
Our
hit it.
top 5 segment this week is the top 5 hardest sports to play. So, do you want to start with
Hit it with the honorables.
honorable mentions?
Yeah.
Okay.
You said you had 5.
No, I only have 4.
Okay, that's fine.
But I mean,
I can take it to 4.
We can do it. So, one of my honorable mentions is soccer, or what they call in England football.
Football.
That's my honorable mention.
All right. One of mine is racing, like F1, NASCAR. I mean, it might not seem hard to a lot of people.
What about drag racing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Drag race. I mean, yeah. Drag racing would be pretty difficult. I mean, trying to
I
go
would
from
say,
0 to as fast as
here's my
possible
thing.
without.
I would say on your body alone, drag racing would be a little more difficult than actual racing.
Yeah, well, I mean, but also you have to think at the same time with like F1. F1's gonna be a lot harder than NASCAR.
The good thing is we don't have Chandler here.
That's true.
You know,
but yeah, he's gonna say racing is hardest. But
I don't think he would say hardest, but he would probably have to stop on it.
I mean, at the same time, I mean, you're definitely. I mean, you're going over 200 miles an hour.
Oh yeah.
And, I mean, in Formula 1, you're going even faster, and I mean, you're having to deal with people bumping you, and
Dude, that's what we could have talked about today as our other topic.
NASCAR?
No, the Indy 500 was today.
Oh, it was today. Yeah.
I kind of forgot I watched it.
Yeah. All right.
Shout out to Halo Castaneves for winning his 4th time.
Yeah.
Anyway,
good job.
So another honorable mention is football, like American football.
Okay.
That's an honorable mention.
Yeah.
It's not my top 5.
Yeah. I'm not gonna go
Honorable
there.
mention. That's all I want to say.
I'm not even gonna go there.
Okay, that's fine.
My next honorable mention, surfing.
I mean, I can give you that. I can't stand up on a surfboard. So.
See, in particular, like competition surfing. I'm not talking like, your everyday Californian that goes out and surfs like.
Yeah, we're talking about.
I'm talking about
like
I'm talking big wave surfing in Hawaii.
Big wave kickflip type at the top of the wave.
Kickflip.
No, not kickflip, but like at the top of the wave type things.
Like I'm talking about going like tubes and like all kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like big wave professional surfing.
Like going to the top.
Yeah.
Like flip like.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yes. Yeah. That kind of surfing.
Yeah. I give you that.
Yeah.
So
no shot.
My other honorable mention. Actually, I do have 5.
Okay.
I didn't think about that. My other honorable mention is gymnastics.
Okay, that's the next one I had too.
Yeah.
Gymnastics.
Like
I can't do it.
I mean the men's gymnastics on the rings, fuck that. Like,
yeah.
I give credit to them.
Yeah, I mean even
the balance beam.
Balance beam, yeah. I mean, that's what I was gonna say.
I can't even stand on that.
Yeah, and then I mean you've got the little pommel horse thingy and the.
I don't even get started on that. You got the uneven
springboard
bars.
Uneven bar. I'm breaking my neck.
The floor routine where they're doing like all these flips. I can't even do a flip. So I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
They're just like
dive,
doing the splits and like popping right back up. Like no.
I'd tear an ACL.
Yeah, that's
You want to do your other one?
I'll go ahead and do another one.
Okay.
Bull riding.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Not only for the difficulty of staying on a bull for 8 seconds,
but the dangers.
Yeah, if you're thrown off a bull and then you have to worry about the bull chasing you or the bull stomping on you. Yeah,
I'll give you that.
I'm not even messing with it.
My next one is diving.
Yeah.
Mainly because
I can't dive normally.
The same thing as, gymnastics. Like, all the twists and stuff they do, and then you have to land, to where there's no splash.
I mean,
nope.
And obviously with the splash, I mean, we're obviously talking about, like, Olympic diving. We're not talking about what LeBron does on a basketball court.
Yeah.
So
that'll be flopping, Braden, not diving.
It's same thing.
Belly flopping.
I mean, yeah. But
that is actually a professional sport too. Is like
professional
belly flops.
But it's called a dive. That's why.
Arm wrestling. That's pretty dangerous. People like rip their
rotator cuffs. Yeah.
I'm not putting that on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was it my turn again or your turn?
Mine.
Or it's your turn? Yeah.
Mine.
Yeah.
So my last honorable mention that I had is water polo.
Honorable mention?
I know that's going to be in your top 5.
It is.
But
you're damn right.
But a lot of people might not think like, oh, water polo. But I mean,
you are treading water the entire game.
I'll say they're not standing like on the they're treading water and swimming and somehow jumping.
Yeah, that's my that's my thing. Is A, you're treading water the entire time.
I mean, but they're substituting out too.
But have you ever watched like the underwater camera?
Yeah.
Like
it's insane.
Their nuts are getting killed.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there's kicks, there's...
I mean, I agree, yes.
Whatever else they're doing underneath there.
I mean, I'm 100% with you. I think that if like, obviously I wouldn't expect it to be this way, but if they were having to, like, tread water, like, while they were on the sidelines, too, like, obviously, then it would be, because then you need insane endurance to do that.
Oh, yeah.
And you obviously need insane endurance in general to play water polo.
Yeah.
And how they do some of the things that they do.
The goalie alone. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And
because you are treading water the whole time. Unless you're like, yeah.
I don't think, the goalie doesn't have...
Unless they're platform. Like... No, I was going to say, unless they're kind of like leaned over and like
they could
on the like actual posts.
They could be leaning on the post like when it's at the other end.
They could be.
I didn't think about that.
But so that's my last honorable mention. I don't know if you had any more.
I do. Alpine skiing.
Like Vaughn.
Yeah. Or like Brody Miller.
Yeah.
Like what they do, because the speeds that they get doing that shit.
Yeah.
You can die.
It's very true. What's her first name?
Lindsay.
That's
Lindsay
it.
Vaughn.
I can think of it.
So let's get into our top 5, Braden.
All right. You want to go first or me go first?
Sure, I'll go first.
Okay.
Golf. Number 5.
All right.
Number 5. I mean, mainly because I'm not good at it. It's got to be number 5.
Okay.
But I mean, it is difficult.
Yeah. Because
you have to read greens, you have to pick the right club, you have to judge the wind, you have to be physically gifted enough to actually hit the ball. There's a lot into golf that people don't understand.
Yeah.
Kind of like tennis, but I don't even have tennis in my top 5.
You didn't have an honorable mention either.
No, because it's not really hard. You hit a fucking ball.
Oh, God. See, that's why I was like shrugging at you saying American football is an honorable mention. I mean, throw a ball, catch a ball.
Tennis is actually kind of hard.
Well, I know. I can't.
Because the spin that you can throw the ball.
It's like table tennis. But I mean,
except for a lot harder.
Yeah.
Table tennis is not hard at all.
I mean, unless you go up against an Olympic athlete.
Well, okay, but let's be honest.
I see what you're saying.
I'm not going up against. Oh, you want to know what sport I should put on here? Cornhole.
Cornhole.
That is difficult.
No, if you play against me and you on a team, yeah.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So it's
me and my throwing technique.
I would say for those out there, Braden and I have not lost on a team yet.
In cornhole.
Or in
water pong. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah, we haven't lost that either.
Haven't.
No. So, if you want to challenge us, go ahead.
Yeah. So my number 5 is soccer. Football. And a lot of people are going to be like, oh, what, why? Like, soccer's not that hard.
Specifically men's or women's?
Either one.
I mean, there's a lot of flopping that goes on, but,
I mean, okay, but that's got nothing to do with the skill level.
That's true. That's true.
So, I mean, a lot of people are just going to, soccer's easy, da-da-da-da-da. And I looked up, and don't get me wrong, we look up lists when we look at this stuff, too, to give ourselves, like, some ideas.
Yeah. I
saw a lot of lists that had soccer listed as, like, an easy sport. And I could tell you, from me playing soccer, it is not easy.
Well, I can also tell you this.
Skill moves.
It's easy to pass a soccer ball, obviously.
Yeah.
It's very... Well, no, like it's easy to, just kick a soccer ball to somebody else.
Like, kick it back and forth, yeah.
Yeah, but when you're playing it in a game, and you have to get around a defender, dribble it and all that stuff, and then keep your head up as you're doing it to see somebody who's wide open.
I mean, also you also have to think of, like, you're also having people run at you.
Yeah.
You have to make a decision, like, okay, am I going to pass this ball off? Am I going to try and do a skill move around them? Again, having your head up, paying attention to what's going on, not paying attention to the ball at your feet.
I'll give you an example.
Curving around.
I'll give you an example. It's not like basketball where you're dribbling a ball and the force of gravity, the ball comes right back to your hand.
Yeah.
Soccer, the ball does not come right back to your foot.
No.
You have to go with the ball.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I was just giving the perspective. That's why
exactly.
That's why I don't have basketball in my top 5 or honorable mention.
I don't have basketball in my top, 160, so...
Is there even 160 sports?
It's probably, one of the dead last easy ones to me.
Okay. It was a question.
I mean, is it difficult if you go to, the professional level? Yeah. But anything is going to be at that point. But you pass the ball, you dribble, you shoot.
Well, here's my thing. I would hope that it was difficult at the professional level.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's not, then why do we even have professional basketball?
True. I personally think that basketball is probably one of the easier sports, along with football, because you can.
I can't put this as a sport because it's no longer actually a sport. I don't think, but slam ball.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that would have been in my top 5. That's like rugby mixed with basketball. I mean, Jesus Christ! You're in the air getting drilled.
But yeah, see, my thing is that a lot of people are gonna say basketball and football are hard, but at the same time, you can go out and you can play, you can get a pickup game started of basketball and football, and you're gonna have 1 or 2 people that are good at that sport, no matter who your friends are, no matter who you're playing with. Whereas if you have somebody, if you have a pickup game of a 3-on-3 soccer game, you might not have somebody that's good at soccer. You might,
no.
Not to the extent
I agree with that.
I mean, because again, basketball, dribble, pass, shoot. Even if you're not the greatest shooter, I mean, it's hard to miss a layup. It's hard to miss a layup.
Obviously, you haven't met my brother-in-law.
Okay, true, but it's hard to miss a layup.
Just saying.
I agree, but okay, it's enough of that. Number 4.
Rugby.
Okay.
Mainly,
I think for obvious reasons.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of obvious.
Yeah. I mean, it's football, but it's like you don't have any pads on.
But here's the thing:
pass.
For me, it's not like football though. I mean, it is, but it's more like soccer, but tackling. No, like you have to have the stamina of soccer because like you never get any rest, but it's the physicality of football. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's number 4 for me. You're fine.
I know. I'm just thinking. I'm just trying to think about. I don't know really how you could. I mean, endurance of soccer.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
But you could also say basketball has the endurance of soccer.
No,
theoretically, like I mean, if you don't have like the substitutes, same thing.
I mean, I guess, but soccer you don't really think of like many whistles though.
That's true.
Like basketball, there's a whistle pretty much.
That's true.
God knows how many times.
That's true. So my number 4 is boxing or
UFC or something.
Yeah, like
any martial art fighting.
Yes.
Okay.
So like the fighting type.
Okay, I was gonna put
for obvious reasons.
Yeah, I was gonna put that in mind. It should have been an honorable mention for me, but I didn't want to have like a whole buttload of honorable mentions. I think the only reason why I didn't have it in my top 5, to be 100% honest, is it kind of like in my mind it depends on like who you're fighting. I mean, obviously it's still gonna be difficult no matter what, but like some of these fights, it's not really.
But I mean, but I think it's also like just going off of like the mental aspect of it too. Because I mean, you're going into a fight, you're walking into a ring knowing you have very well the possibility of dying.
Yeah, you may not come back out.
Or like,
I mean,
you walk into a fight where you know you're gonna lose, but or you're gonna get you're gonna.
I mean, maybe not so much. Maybe not so much like knowing you're gonna die like in today's day and age, because I mean the refs don't let it get to that point anymore. But I mean, back in the day, especially boxing, I mean, you could easily die in the ring because if
you're standing, you're fighting.
Yeah, I mean, it was a 10 count. It wasn't we're calling this because the guy looks like he can't even stand up. Like it was if you're standing up, no matter if you're not actually coherent, you're fighting.
Yeah. If you're not throwing in the towel, you're standing up and you're standing there. Okay, go for it.
Number 3 for me is baseball.
Okay.
For obvious reasons. I mean, just hitting alone. I mean, if you blink, you miss a pitch.
Yeah.
So, for me, I mean, just hitting alone, obviously, depending on what position you play, people are going to be like, oh, well, that position is easy. I can tell you any position in baseball, especially professionally, not easy.
I don't even think you could say just professionally. I mean, even if you drop down to like the high school level.
Yeah. I mean, people are like, oh, if you play first base, it's easy. No, not at all.
It's not. It's really not.
Anywhere in the infield, not easy. Outfield
not either.
Just as difficult. And I mean, pitcher, very difficult.
Yeah, don't even.
Catcher sucks.
Yeah,
and I would tell you later in life, your knees freaking kill you. So
true.
So I mean, I have baseball number 3.
I kind of cheated a little bit.
Okay.
I don't have number 3.
Okay.
I have a 2A and a 2B.
Okay, what's your 2B?
Hockey.
Okay. I'll say my number 2 then. My number 2 is water polo. Obvious reasons we already talked about.
My 2A is baseball.
Okay.
So yeah, like.
The fuck is your number 1 then?
Two like Greg said, like baseball. Well, first of all, I'll start with hockey.
Okay.
Hockey. I mean, you're skating on a blade that's what, 1/8 of an inch.
Yeah.
So I mean, something very close to that.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're making cuts. It's the same type of a thing like with soccer, making reads. People coming at you. So the people coming at you are going to hit you. They're not and you're having to make these reads with your head up, because if you don't have your head up, you're getting demolished. I mean, you see those online videos all the time.
Well, and not to cut you off, but I mean, here's my thing with hockey. You have to have the physicality of football.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have the hand-eye coordination of baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to have the speed of basically a speed skater.
And the endurance of, like,
Yeah.
a soccer player.
Yeah.
Well, endurance of, like, a...
Well, I would say... I don't even know. Like
Maybe a basketball player.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know, because it's I will say it's different skating for that long with those cuts and everything else.
The endurance of a soccer forward.
I'll say that, yeah.
So you're in the play as long as the ball is, like, up near you. However, if the play is, like, away from you, you're not really doing much.
I see. I disagree with that.
But I'm saying, like, in those situations where the ball's not away from them, they're sitting on the bench, like on a line change.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So
I got you.
Like, it's short bursts of.
Oh yeah. Well,
But yeah, the hockey is definitely super hard. In either one, like, I have 2A, 2B just because it could go either way.
Well,
I couldn't
my
decide
thing
between
is
2 and 3.
the reason why I have hockey. Well, okay, I'll say it. Hockey's number one for me, and the reason that I have hockey at number one is you don't hear of any other sport where somebody's playing with a broken ankle.
Yeah.
I mean, basketball, you're out. Soccer, you're out. Lacrosse, you're out. Like, all these other sports, you don't hear of anyone playing with a broken ankle. Hockey, Alexander Steen, broken ankle the entire series, 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
So, I mean, okay, yes, obviously you could say, well, they're on skates. All he has to do is tape it up, play through the pain, and as long as he can push on it, like, the skates are gonna glide. I get that, but you're still making cuts. You're still.
Yeah.
I mean, so.
It's a mentally tough sport to play too.
Yeah,
not just physically.
Yeah, so that's the reason why I had it number one was the mental toughness, the physical attributes you have to even remotely play, especially professionally.
Yeah.
And the fact that, I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, a lot that, I mean, you get, like, your hand-eye coordination has to be just unreal.
Yeah.
And so that's the reason why I had it at number one.
Yeah. So,
but I can almost bet I can guess what your number one is.
Well, let me tell so I know you hit on baseball. And
yes.
Baseball being, like, difficult, and
yes.
I mean, the thing is baseball is, because everybody's gonna say, like, oh, baseball, it's not that hard. You can fail 7 times out of 10 and you'd be considered a great player. You hear that all the time. Mm-hmm. Like, because a 300 hitter is considered to be one of the better players.
Yeah, I mean, baseball's a game of failure.
That's a success rate of 3 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the thing is, and this is the argument that I can make for any other player. You could take a professional athlete, a professional baseball player, and if you were to throw him into a basketball game, okay, he might not be the best basketball player there. I bet he'd be competitive. You could you throw him in a football game, depending, on what position you put him in, other attributes along those lines. You throw him in a football game, again, not going to be the best player there, but again, could be competitive.
Okay.
You put either one of those players in either like an NBA or like an NBA player, or even just going from the high school level, putting like a star basketball or a star football player, and you throwing them into a baseball game, no shot.
Yeah, no, I would agree.
No shot.
I would agree with that.
The hand-eye coordination that it takes to hit a ball, to be able to read a pitch out of a pitcher's hands, to know, like, your defensive assignments, to know, just to be able to read a fly ball. I mean, as easy as it sounds, not easy.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely not easy. Being able to read, like I said, read pitches, know just what to do in certain situations. it's not as clear cut and easy as what people think.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I have it at number 2. What do you think my number 1 is?
Based on you haven't said it yet, I'm gonna say golf.
Yeah,
I was about to say
golf
like
is
you hadn't said it yet, so I was like either you don't have it even listed as a top 5 or honorable mention, or it's
golf.
number 1. So,
and I think that it's the hardest. I obviously think it's the hardest sport.
well, yeah,
And I don't think that's even up for argument. I think it is the hardest sport. Now, like you said, with hockey, you have your hand-eye coordination. You have to have certain skills that you don't have to have in golf. You have to have the endurance, things along those lines. And in golf, you do have to have endurance of some kind, but not necessarily the endurance of like skating for long periods of time. But I mean, you do have to have the endurance to walk a course and be able to hit. 100 shots.
Yeah, I would say that the endurance you need to have in golf is more mental than physical.
Yes.
Like I think golf, and I mean I can say this personally because my golf game sucks, is all mental.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you have a bad shot, you have to pretty much forget about it and be ready for your next one. Because if you just have a bad shot, get mad, try to adjust, you're gonna have a bad day.
See, and the thing is
I got terrible.
I think that with golf, like you said, it's super mental. You have to be able to be mentally tough in order to play golf and be able to be good at golf. And that's based, and that's why I have it based on that. Like, obviously, if you're not worried about being good at it, then it's not going to be hard. Like, if you want to be good at it, it's incredibly hard. You want to be good and you want to be consistently good, insanely hard. Because, I mean, like baseball, for example, if you were to practice enough, again, 3 out of 10 times, you're going to be a good player.
Yeah.
Golf, you can practice as much as you want to. If you don't have the specific, the specific swing path that you need, the specific, if your club face isn't at neutral or, for a specific shot shape you're wanting to hit at a certain point in time with the shaft lean at this point in time with your hips turned. I mean, there's so much that goes into a player's golf swing. If you're 1/1/16 of a millimeter off, you have no idea where that ball can go. Especially if you're hitting like driver.
See, I could say the same thing about hockey though.
Okay, but if you're
if you don't have your stick like curved to the exact way that you need it curved, you don't know where that puck's gonna go when you shoot it.
Yeah, but a hockey puck isn't gonna curve 200 feet offline if you shoot it.
You never know. It could.
It's not.
No, but it could. It could go
How?
off. It could go off the
200 feet.
It could go off the post and go into the stand 200 feet. It could go off the boards, go wrap around and go 200 feet.
No,
you never know.
No, because I mean the thing is you've seen me golf whenever I have probably one of the worst slices I've ever seen.
I mean,
one of them.
Have you seen mine?
I mean, I have, but you've seen mine.
I am a fairway over.
I know. I've slid, but you know how bad mine can be if I really try to like hit one that way.
That's true.
So I mean, if I don't pay attention to what I'm doing and I hit, and I mean my golf ball could be 2 fairways over.
Yeah.
So I mean, and that's with me practicing and me, wanting to.
I don't know why I pointed that way because I actually aimed that way.
I mean, true. Yeah.
Because it goes like that.
Yeah, but I mean, in order to be good at golf, you have to eat, breathe, sleep, practice golf. That's it. Like you have to be 100% focused 100% of the time. And if you're not focused for a second of a like while you're playing around, okay.
I think my problem playing golf is I drink too much while I play.
See, yeah, can't do that either if you want to be good.
I mean,
you can for certain people. But
I just want to have a good time. Is what it is.
See, but then if you play bad, you don't have a good time.
I mean, that's true, but I've come to the realization now that if I have a good round, I have a good round. If I don't, I'm still having fun because I'm drinking and just enjoying a day with the guy.
Doing what? With the guys.
I don't know why I say guy. I mean guys.
Because the only time you go play golf is with me.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
I know it is.
Yeah. But
we need to get out and play again.
We definitely do at some point.
Yep.
Whenever, we can. But with that being said, that will be the podcast for today. Make sure to stay engaged. We now only... Whoa.
Moth, yeah.
I was like, what's flying around my head right now? But make sure to stay engaged. We only have the Facebook group and TikTok now. Mainly because nobody was really getting involved with the other ones. So people are getting involved with these ones, so we're trying to keep those.
Focus on the ones that people are...
Yeah. And if you guys know anybody who likes sports, invite them to the Facebook group. Invite them to like us on TikTok.
Subscribe on YouTube.
Yeah, subscribe on YouTube. Like the video on YouTube.
Like the video. Wallop the like video with unbridled enthusiasm.
That was a lot right there.
I know.
I don't even know what to say.
Just above and beyond.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
That's
what I do for the people.
Okay. Guys, we thank you again. Make sure you thank a veteran.
Happy Memorial Day to everybody.
Happy Memorial Day, and we'll see you guys next time.
Later, skater.